Alright. So, it was a crazy last session, to say the least. I don't think it needs too much of a preamble. When you guys last left off, it was on a heavy note. Bridwin lay in the hospital, and Zarman stayed by his and Tirana's side throughout most of the next week. As the days wore on, kept your heads up. Knowledge that not only was the devil's influence here in the form of the Order of Asmodeus, but that it was deeper and now stronger than you could have imagined. But still, appearances must be made, and personal invitations went out, inviting you to the New Year ball. Prince whizzed in and out through most of y'all's personal lives individually throughout each of the days, and by the time the last day of 1939 finally approached, you were all glammed up in various golden attire for the Hearthvine Royal Ball, resounding in a new year filled with new hopes and new fear. Celebrations are going on throughout the city. Magical displays of illusions cast from the floating towers above are dazzling. And there's street vendors and music the entire way there. And you drive past most of it, taking the family car, winding up streets and over the bridges of the amusement district until you got into the garden district itself. Winding paths like driving through a maze with wide, even stone streets. There's less exuberant energy of festivities here, but that's because everybody who lives here is where you go. The family car drives across the bridge, and you can hear the music spilling out, resounding across an entire district before you even get to it. Seems ever present, like the dancing lights that float around your vehicle and around your steps as the doors open in front of the Grand Palace itself. You'd been to the Garden Palace before, but that was doing business. And now, everybody you see here is in dazzling shades. Most of their outfits are enchanted in some regard. One person that you walk by, Hanu, that especially takes your eye, is at first it looked like she wasn't wearing a gown at all, but instead clothed with a window into the deep sea itself, a school of fish swimming by. You see Prince waiting at waiting at the top of the steps. He's flanked on either side by they and them. And he puts his hands on his hips and places his finger on his chin, and he leans in like he's scrutinizing each and every one of you, and he's like, "Oh, well, I've been known to work miracles, but looking at you, you're gonna be the only thing these people can look at, and they're gonna hate it. Ooh. Well, shall we?" And he gives this really low, exaggerated bow, arms sweeping to indicate towards the doors, which are wide open, a long carpet that usually ends at the door itself, instead having spilled all the way down the steps that you had walked up. And you continue across this velvet path, Prince kind of twirling around in between each of you all, admiring your outfits, and things that he picked out. But of course, he's admiring it here, which is important. And you can see that there's also emissaries from other countries that you walk by. You actually note two, especially, as soon as you walk in, because you'd saved their lives when your airship blew up right off the coast. They both look at you, and you see as Garden Snake and her Khajiit guard give you a nod. And then something catches your eye. You see someone you hadn't expected there, standing right there as if he'd been in the midst of conversation with them. Wander. He doesn't pay any attention to you guys, and instead ends up getting back into what appears to be a conversation between him and Garden Snake.
Really seems so focused.
Quite away from Andre.
Well,
As you come up the steps, Pridwin says, "Okay, well, as it goes with a New Year's party, it's all about, well, the final stroke, isn't it? The rest of this is all preamble and won't have anything of much interest. Expect to hear pretty much the same song for the next several hours. It's gonna be a real drag. But you could take the moment to get to know some people. And if you learn any juicy gossip, feel free to pass it my way." And you've made your way pretty much up next to the throne room where you can see the throne itself is empty. And he goes, "Okay then, have fun, kiddos." And gives you a quick little nudge forward, and you find yourselves kind of awkwardly standing around this back corner until you see Marcellus standing there nearby. He walks up and he's like, "Well, look who it is. Huh. I didn't expect to see you guys out here."
Well, we had an invitation. We won't want to miss it. How are
You
you
got an
doing,
invitation. They sent invitations out this year.
You get one.
Well, I'm usually on the road. Such is the life of the greatest spy in Orville. I don't
Hanu
exactly
and
have a
Sarah.
forwarding address.
Hanu and Eliza would notice Babette just ever so slightly go.
How you been, Marcellus? Everything been good?
Well, I would tell you, but then I'd have to kill you.
Ah, I see.
It's a spy
It's
joke.
a spy thing. Yeah. It's been too long, Marcellus.
Yes. In the meantime, when I thought that you couldn't make a bigger bang in Orville, you then decide to open up 18 stadiums and start an entire new sport. Sorry I couldn't make it, by the way, but I really look forward to catching one in the future.
Honestly, you could blame Hanu. Hanu's the one who came up with the crazy idea.
No, I believe it was something of a collaborative effort from what I remember.
Yep, starts nodding. I had the vision, Zarman helped with the rules, and everybody helped with the spirit. I mean, if you really really wanted to get involved with it. It was like the airship's whole thing because I had a watery sphere that was huge and that just got gears turning, but it shrugs. So I guess you mean Takaroa. You know what? Yeah. Starts mumbling and then all of a sudden starts looking out the window. Just, wait, what is the cause and the effect?
As they're talking, his kind of like looks like he starts to lean as if he's looking past you at something. And then he goes, "So, Hanu, have you ever been interested in becoming a spy?"
She will turn her,
So chuckles.
still looking out the window. Slightly confused look on her face, but she'll take, like, the, like, very light scarf that definitely doesn't equate to a scarf, but it's fancy looking. She'll tug it down to slow her sleepy owl. This is all the surveillance I ever need. And just tuckers him back in place with her scarf.
Well, unfortunate. In the espionage business, surveillance hours are not standard issue, and we have to resort to other methods at a time. And he's like bobbing and weaving to look past you at something, and like one shoulder, then over to the other. The whole time he's talking, his eyes aren't on you, and he goes, "I could use a distraction, a very conventional distraction. You see, we're not allowed to leave this hall. The rest of the palace is locked up until the queen arrives, and then, well, as you can see, he looks over at the empty throne. She's decided to make an Orvalian entrance. That is to say, fashionably late. But I have important spy business that I am conducting at this very instant.
Oh, you want me to, like, start a fight or something? Cause I'm ready.
No, I'd rather not have you get kicked out.
Yeah,
Instead, perhaps, like, I don't know, do something magical. But, like, maybe, can you summon lightning?
Puts her hands together in deep
No,
thought.
lightning might be too much.
Yeah, that's
water.
It's a work-
Water's your thing. Water's
in
soft. Nobody's
progress.
ever been afraid of water. Don't take that the wrong way. Water can be very frightening, I'm certain. But right now, I'm relying on people not thinking it's frightening to cause a friendly distraction. While I weave past that god standing at that door, get into the east wing. The west wing.
I mean...
Holds his hands up. Like he's getting the L for left.
Yeah. Okay. Which NP, like, are any of the NPCs with us aside from Gwen?
Gwen is with you. Other than that, it's, Sunera came with you. But, looking around, she's, of course.
Sunera things.
Yep. But no, other than that.
Okay. It's princess nearby.
Piranha chose to stay by.
Understandable.
You've seen the princess. She's kind of been circuiting around. Last you saw her, she was near the entrance.
Okay.
She was thronged and surrounded by a bunch of people. So.
Alright.
Or didn't even like bother trying to get you in on that introduction.
Okay.
Yet.
Yeah. And Willem is not here yet. Skipping.
Willem is also making an Orvalian entrance.
Okay.
That is to say, fashionable.
Gotcha. Alright. Well, I mean, I do got some watery sphere. I do got some, I do have some basic water. Could always do some kind of exhibition or, I don't know, some Poilymana stuff. You guys need to spicing it up. I don't know if I will insult people with
Hanu,
my
do you
stuff.
know what a Stygian maneuver is?
Well,
Of course not, because
yeah. Okay.
if I were to try and talk to you about spy language, it would make no sense. and that's the same way I'm not understanding anything you're saying right.
Oh, I thought you were
But
talking
I
about
trust in
okay.
your capabilities, and if you could do it in perhaps exactly 60 seconds.
Oh,
Thank
yeah,
you.
sure.
And he walks past and starts like talking to some other group that walked by.
Hey, Hanu, why don't you put on a little Polymon with a lot of skin
Alright,
inside of it?
uh,
You know, the showy kind of dance.
what? I mean, it's not really dancing, it's actually a martial art of the Pualimana. It's
You know
ebb
what
and
I mean.
flow. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, sure, fine. Okay. Alright, and then she starts going right over here. A respectable distance or whatnot. Or some place that looks open.
There's a door right down here, and that's where the guard is that he's trying to distract. There are more people mingling all around.
Okay, so
So,
I'm
you're
looking.
like right here?
Yeah, I'll be gauging that distance and seeing the trajectory there. So yeah, she'll just be like, swoop, cracking her knuckles, and where's Prince? I will make meaningful eye contact with him as I pass by, like I'm about to do some shit. If I see there, them, or
Ooh,
Prince, I will be like, and give that purposeful nod.
I knew that was the reason I liked you.
Alright. And then she'll first, a little bit further away from some nobles, as she'll create a pool of water around her first, and start thaumaturging her voice. A very melodic, sounding, not really a word chant, but kind of the basic chants of, I guess, of like mourning that they would do at the temple. And then she'll just start doing some of the Tai Chi stuff with that water, and then partway through she will also create a watery sphere and try to entwine them together.
Okay. Give me a religion check first.
Oh boy, oh boy. She was told to be on her best behavior, so she's gonna enhance ability that. She'd also be like, she knows Eliza's being really inspirational, so she'd be like, hit me up, man, hit me up, come on. Get me some good stuff. So she'll ask for either.
Rue joined all the dancers, so
Yeah.
she's dancing.
So
Are you asking for human influence? I'm sorry.
you have human influence, but then you get that one thing for like a month for doing that side quest for that one writer.
Oh
Yeah.
Yeah. So one or the other, or both. I don't. One is a bonus action, the other is an action. So you can give me both.
yeah, both.
Should be like,
Roll it.
okay, fuck it,
Do
I'm
it.
ready. Oh,
And you have my guidance too, because I can cast guidance on too. So
okay, yeah.
roll a 2d4.
I just remembered I can't use enhanced ability because that is concentration. Well, that will eventually drop, so I will switch that over. So would I still be able to do it with advantage, or because it's dropping, I have to not use that?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'll do it with all that other stuff. Okay.
So a lot of good
2d4 plus-
extra stuff.
Okay.
28.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. Religion. Let me. Freaking.
Come on.
Okay, sorry. I have a lot of things I'm clicking through. Yes,
can-
and I gotta get that hype. Alright, religion. I'm gonna re-roll that with my stuff.
Hey,
Let's see what
I said
happens.
to do it.
17.
Much better.
Okay, so 2d4.
2d4.
Plus 1d.
8.
1d8. Okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
Hell
27.
yeah, 27.
Oh, nice. Okay, so with that, now roll me a performance check at advantage.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yep.
Hey, this is what's all happening, guys.
I
Come on,
gave you some boosts with that, bro. 18.
Hey!
There you go.
Sorry.
All right.
Is it-
Yeah, no, you draw on your keen memory of all of those studies of those movements, and you end up entwining all of that into your magic there, and it causes this very good spectacle that draws a lot of people's attention, including the guard. And when you look over in that thing, you see somehow him just like side walking behind the awe-inspired guard and like opening the door and then like going through and then like pulling it closed and then like peeking his head out just a moment to like look at your display and then putting his head back in and closing the door.
What kind of cartoon character is he?
She is.
He lives his life by Deadpool logic.
Yeah,
Yeah, right?
It's amazing. She will try her best not to get the urge to do a word chant, but she'll thaumaturgy just to heighten the experience, but also kind of shaking the ground around her. So there's a lot going on, layers upon layers of things. And she'll just keep the crowd's attention.
Heck yeah.
Tattoos
All right.
lighting up and everything. She's doing this.
All right. As soon as you get done with your performance, and just to say, like, you're walking away, you see, like, Prince, and he's all like giving, like, this big beaming smile in your direction, and, like, clapping his hands, like, enthusiastically.
And Babette joins in with the applause.
And
Yeah, and Eliza.
as you're walking towards the applause of your friends, resounded and echoed by the entire antechamber of people, the music goes into this lilting kind of ballroom waltz, and so more of the dancers step out into the middle floor, and as you're walking over there, you hear, I did not know that you could do that. As Valerie steps out in front of you.
Yeah. At this point, since there's a lot of water around, I'm creating ice sculptures of a statue that is just like this. But it also has like an owl on its shoulder.
Yeah.
Water, genasi things. How have you been, Valerie? How was, skiing, right?
Skiing?
Yeah. Yeah, how was it?
It was amazing. I almost died maybe once, but obviously I'm alive. And guess what?
Uh-huh, what?
I totally asked in about that Kumosuchi person,
Uh-huh.
and you'll never guess what I found out, but we probably shouldn't talk about it right here.
Yeah, it's probably best. Well,
Where's everybody else?
oh, they're a little bit up, and she'll give a vague direction, but also step back. Do you have anything else you want me to add to this ice sculpture? You seem to have a good eye on you, so something a little flair. What do you think?
She takes a step back, looks at it, gives a little tilt of her head, and you watch as she just casts this light right within inside of it so that it looks like its eyes are glowing out of it. And
Yes.
Step back, stroking her chin in a thoughtful manner. Looks good, looks good. Well,
flair has always been my thing, but I could never be an artist.
well, art. You're never too young or old to at least appreciate art. It's just a little bit of courage to push through.
Yeah, and a buttload of patience. Do you know how
That's
much
true.
time you have to spend doing art to be good at art?
I mean, it's like the same thing as studying as an art form, or I don't know, cooking as an art form. Since you were in Jaula, she'll go over some of the terms of teacher and what that means in Jaolan. So,
This is why I don't cook and I don't study.
Okay. Anyways, do you at least pour tea, though?
She thinks back. I'm a little bit more of a coffee person.
Coffee pouring?
Hanu,
Yeah, what? Yes?
speaking of coffee,
Yeah, what?
there is somebody here from Wildevere. Have you ever been?
No, actually.
Then, well, they've got really strong coffee, and they've also got talking owls.
I know, right? It's just so amazing. It's just a stone throw
Have you
away.
been?
I'm not yet. But it is on my horizon. I like to go there eventually.
There is skiing there.
I mean, I think if there's any mountain you can ski. Are you gonna go there to ski? Just look, makes herself look really into this conversation as she steers both of us towards the group.
It's a definite good beginner ski slope. I'll say that much.
Do any of the animals ski there?
Oh, of course they do. Watch out for those beavers.
I would have thought so. Okay, good. And then she's just weaving the group in and out, weaving them in and out of the group, and this kind of settles to where Eliza is.
Oh my god, Eliza! I did not think that you would be the type of person to want to come here. You look so good. You should glam up more.
Eliza, like, for just a second, kind of looks embarrassed, and then she just, like, straightens up, and she's like, Valley, good to see you.
So, I found out the craziest news. Wait, Zale?
Hi, Valerie.
So, I just got back from skiing in Chaubignon, which, by the way, I probably maybe almost died, but I'm okay. But at one point, after I got done with an almost nearly dying part of it, that was related to skiing, not related to this. I asked around, and evidently, nobody's heard from that Kumo Suchi person in like a couple of weeks. Some people think he might have been murdered. There was a lot of blood in his house and definite signs of a struggle.
That is interesting.
I'm just nodding to this.
Out of character, does Eliza know who that is? I don't recall Akumi.
It was brought up during the Christmas dinner, but drawn it.
But finer details, no. Even still
Just-
hasn't talked to Eliza about that yet.
He seems to
And the rest of the
be
group.
an important person in Jaula. So, and yes.
Gotcha.
I don't know. Is it public knowledge that he's like the right hand to the emperor?
Like, I mean, public knowledge is a kind of a weird word.
Yeah, it's like if you're paying attention to the news, you notice that those two always kind of hang out.
Sort of.
Yeah. Okay.
He's not known for being the right hand.
Or she's
of
associated.
anybody.
Oh no, he's the right hand of Pridwin, right?
No,
Oh, okay, alright.
that's not known at all.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying
He's
for my
got
own
an association
sense.
with the Sleeping King.
With the sleeping.
and that's-
Okay, gotcha. Okay, gotcha.
But
He's well
Yeah,
known for
but
the
that's-
silk trade, which is the main
yeah,
thing
he's
history
well known
knows
for
him
the silk trade.
Okay.
That's why she knew who he was, because he helped introduce spider silk. to
Yeah,
like
yeah, I'm just
the
getting
Yeah.
wider
context for myself. Don't worry.
Yeah. Very good.
Okay. Yeah.
world. Which is a total bummer because on that note, nobody's going to probably be able to take over that business. And if they do, you can guarantee that either quality is going to drop or prices are going to skyrocket. Then again, on the other note, all of my current Kumosuchi dresses probably just going to increase in value. I mean, they're practically vintage overnight.
I mean, seems
It's
like
one way to say the positives.
the fashion industry is very cutthroat, so who knows where this came from? Could have been a competitor in
You
the
have
satin.
no
Yeah.
idea. I spent a little time as a model, and tell you what,
What?
those people actually have their own assassins. They're like worse than like the mob.
Hmm.
Mm.
I guess I could see it. Yeah. I mean, they don't want to get their clothes dirty, and no offense, but they are kind of twigs, so they probably can't do
Their
things too long.
assassins kill you with needles.
Actually, no, that's actually pretty cool. Wow.
Huh.
Cool and scary.
Is anybody looking around at us as we're talking?
I mean, every once in a while, people glance in your directions. You're in a very crowded ballroom filled with music and people dancing and standing in
Any
circles.
Shaw representatives kind of looking at us?
No, when you notice, the only people that you noted from Shaola were the two
All
that
the
you
way
were
up
familiar
front.
with, the ambassadors.
Yeah.
You're in
Good.
Avale right now. Everybody here is just a bunch of Alvalian nobles with a few outliers. The outliers I put on the
Wow.
map.
Gotcha, okay.
She.
Would Elijah, like, if she's listening, would she be able to pick up on any kind of, like, gossip or anything happening around her?
Sure, go ahead and roll me a perception check.
I will guidance you.
You can human influence yourself.
Yeah.
They are just talking about, when they think the queen will be here and where that she probably is and the fact that she's been fighting on the front lines and, she must be pretty pissed at all these knights that are showing up to her party and not fighting up at her war. Think she's going to say anything about it, and that's it.
I mean, we're probably gonna get the usual gossip at the start of the event, but
Yeah.
let a few drinks kick in.
So, like,
Anybody drinking?
nah.
They are just
Deb-
people walking around with trays.
That would probably have a drink.
Okay. Anyone else?
She would nurse it though.
Yeah.
Constitution saving throws.
So
from
we'll not drink.
people that are drinking. This is the bullshit.
I'll dreaded Constitution savings for Rachel.
You
Boy.
filthy.
Hell yeah!
Oh,
She is all ready for
Fine.
this.
Oh wow. I'm not taking it. It's too good.
There's a definite feeling listening in and stuff and taking a couple of drinks as like the minutes wear on that this actually probably will be a while. It's about 9. So you've got about, a couple of hours until the main event, as Prince had put it. So, on that note, I'm gonna leave you guys to just RP amongst yourselves. You look around; it's mostly all Valian nobles and aristocrats and just rich people. And other than the outliers that you had noted who are placed on the map, there is a sprinkling of different knights and stuff also kind of standing around, mostly in their own little circles, some of them interacting with various nobles. And the knights here are in like really good regalia. They're wearing armor, but it's like definitely the ceremonial type. It's got ribbons and medals on all of them, and You see badges that represent things that you have no idea of, and many of them. But every once in a while, you do catch the uh, crest of the Order of Asmodeus on a couple of them. And you recall on the fact that the Order of Asmodeus and all knightly orders are not like guilds. They are noble families that train aristocrats in the ways of knightliness, inducting them in their ranks from various families, and those knights sometimes, but don't always, sometimes go out and start their own guilds and do other things. So they are diverse, and the knightly orders that you see of the Order of Asmodeus, you see them on the badges of all kinds of different units, and many of them aren't, like always just grouped by themselves. In fact, you only really see two groups of them by their own, and that is and the rest of them are just like individual members within other groups. You also note other crests on many other people representing many of the different knightly orders of Alphael. And you get a feeling that it's not as you get the first realization here of how the enemy is not as cut and paste as you might have thought. It is spread out and yet unified.
Okay.
Because I have
That's your own little corner. Yes, you've got your circle of friends and allies around you. I'll leave you to talk for a moment. I'm actually gonna go grab me a drink while you guys.
Yep. Actually, I had one question real quick before I go, Chance.
Mm-hmm.
Do these nightly orders only deal at aristocrats, or is there rare occurrences of, say,
No,
peasants?
knights are nobility. That's the
Nobility.
difference between a
Okay.
knight and a soldier.
Gotcha. Okay.
Ah,
Well, it's definitely interesting.
just stage whisper to Ember. Psst. Hey, bro.
What?
Psst. Anybody look? I don't know if Flamey just shrugs. Or are they all just piles of hot air, smoke, and mirrors? That sounds something fancy, right?
That does indeed sound about right.
Yeah.
It's a bit hard to tell with everyone moving and so close to one another. Ugh. Something about that doesn't seem right to me.
How does it work? Do you have like sometimes when I like zone in, I can start seeing some wonky things. Is it like that, or is it just constantly like Zale's special eyes? Starts wiggling her eyebrows at that.
Look at you a little strangely. Zale has special eyes.
They call it glaucoma.
I am unsure of exactly how that works.
I don't know, it's a magic thing. He's just really sensitive to like magic, just like some people are sensitive to sunlight. So what about you, bro?
Oh, right.
Yeah.
No.
Mm-hmm.
I just was fortunate enough, or maybe unfortunate enough, to be born with the gift that lets me see things about people.
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it gives me impressive insight, sometimes it, well, does nothing of the sort.
Oh, okay.
You have to focus on it, or is it just always there?
Oh, I definitely have to be paying at least some sort of attention to the person. It's not like I look at someone and they just glow bright colors or anything of the sort. No, it's much more deep and less obvious.
Oh.
Hence why it's easier to read some people than it is others. And he will give a slight motion to Honu at the first part, and then a slight motion at Babette with the other.
Babette just kind of nods.
Just looking thoughtful at that, scratching her bird and feeding him. Guys, this is really boring, okay? I'm rapidly losing interest right now.
I mean,
How much longer do we have?
it's actually a little bit longer. I mean, just, I don't know, do some imagery training, you know?
Yes. I never understood the point of these things. It's a waste of time.
You know what?
Well, for us maybe, but for these people, it's their livelihood if you think about it, really.
Yes, but I'm sure they could be doing something much more useful than
Productive.
sitting around talking and drinking, and I just don't understand.
As you're
Because you don't
speaking, you
understand
watch
mobility.
as another figure walks up to your group. Familiar fire genasi that you had met a week prior. One Vashti. Her
Oh,
luminescent hair comes in, and as you're speaking, she says, "It may not look like it, but this is a battlefield."
Well, that makes it.
Where you see people drinking and rattling on about nothing. There are intricate maneuvers happening.
I doubt for a moment that these people are trying to do something more than what it appears. I just feel it could be done in a far more practical and less time consuming way.
Clearly, you misunderstand Avale.
Clearly, you misunderstand civilization. It is all about taking the practical and expanding on it to the absurd. However, there are some people that do prefer a more simple approach. I would like to take you to meet one such person. I believe you, Hanu, have already met
Yeah, she's.
the leader of Brilliant Pillar.
Yeah, she's looking excited. Like for a moment, she was nodding along to Battlefield, like a new stern perspective of, okay, this makes it more interesting than just glancing up to this of, oh boy, I want to climb that. Oh, Brock, yeah, he's great. He reminds me of my uncle.
Vishra, because
Vashti.
Vashti, for more just educational purpose. How do you see it? The battlefield, that's what you call it.
Many years underneath a patient tutor. watch closely, you may learn a few things tonight.
So
And
nods and
she gestures for you guys to follow her.
Yep.
And it's so subtle that you all kind of find yourselves, nodding along. And as she leads you across, you walk behind the throne, guards kind of, standing absolutely still as you pass by them. And you can see Garen Lionscrest, the leader of the Lions Guard, talking to the arcane advisor to the queen. And you continue on your way past the bards playing music that's resounding itself throughout the hall through some sort of enchantment. And Lysandra standing ready by the throne as if she might strike down anybody that attempted to sit on it. And till you make your way down the steps to the other side, and you're standing before a massive man. He's got to be a half Goliath, and broad-shouldered, dark brown skin, and this big bushy beard. He's clad mostly like a warrior, but he does have a very nice cape. And he sees you as you approach, and he says, Vashti, who is it that you've brought here? Oh, Anu, come here! And he comes and grabs you up in this big old bear hug and squeezes you so tight that he lifts you up off the ground. And then he puts you down on your feet, and you see behind him this mage in white human. And he's very pale skin and fair frame. He just looks a little embarrassed. So he shakes his head. And he goes, It is good to see you again, Hanu Stormconch.
Demetrius? Pleasure's all
Have
mine.
you thought much about our last conversation?
She gives him a very seer-like look of... I can't. Yeah. I'm not gonna spin in circles. I've thought about it. New information has been brought to light, which has made me reassess a few things. Quite peculiar indeed.
New developments. That is one way of putting it.
Oh,
Hanu,
developments
do you
of
mind
developments.
introducing us?
Yes. And she will give Demetrius a polite nod and then turn to Brock and give her own hug. Her strength-based hug, so she's really with a 30, using her the proper technique to lift him up. And a
Well, I'm thinking of that
hat
meme.
and storm conch hug.
I'm
Gives him a little,
thinking of that meme
give
now.
him a little
You're stronger than you look.
Yes. It's all about knowing how to use your strength when you don't have a lot of it. And then gently puts him down and pretends like she didn't break a sweat. It's wiping away some sweat.
Yeah, straighten your back.
No, she rolls her shoulders. She's doing okay. It's just that
Hell yeah.
that holding the breath thing is like, oh wait, this is a lot of weight.
He takes a step back and he puts his, hands on his hips and stands right behind Demetrius, like this big old bodyguard of sorts.
Mhm.
And it's funny knowing that, Barack's the one that's, the leader, but in this personal dynamics here, you can very clearly see theirs. And he looks like, proud with his hands on his hips as he, waits for you to introduce them.
Yep, and she will basically be like, Brock of Cocytus and his very good friend Demetrius of I forgot the clan name.
Demetrius of the Sabinic tribes.
Yeah, of the Sabinic tribes. I've
Well,
met
it's a pleasure to meet you two.
I met with them a few weeks prior. They have amazing stories and even more amazing food at their place, the Guild Hall, and she'll just mention where the Guild Hall is. And
Ah, no.
gestures to the groups, and these are all of my other friends. You can
Nice to meet you.
definitely.
Oh, allies in arms.
Mhm.
I look forward to fighting mighty battles in the future against our unnameable enemy.
Which right now is hunger, so I'm gonna go get some food, guys.
I will join you.
Yes.
So I'll kind of look at Rock and Hanukkah and look back at Dimitri. Hey, Hallahan.
Nice to meet you. I'm Telwaflon.
Puts his hands within his sleeves, nods his head to you. Yes, you are.
Can I make an insight roll? Is that like a little bit of just like unruly? Like he doesn't like me?
I think
Like
that might just be his general vibe at all
it
times.
might be his general
But, yeah.
vibe, but I want to just see real quick. Insight. 13. Maybe this is his general vibe, guys.
Tell me,
Hmm.
Zeolwolfen, what sign were you born on?
Looks at him. Well, it's a very personal question. Why? Why are you
I
asking?
think it's rather a common one, is it not? I was born underneath the magician. Now you, simple. I believe that people here in Arvale call it exchanging pleasantries.
Well, I'm not
These
from
are not
Arvale.
evidently pleasant trees. That is something different, I hear.
Huh. Well, I'm
That
not originally from
was a
Arvale, from
joke.
Korea Coast. Huh. Funny. The devil.
Oh, that's interesting. From what I've heard, I would have guessed the fool. It shows that even years of shutting the stars, things can still surprise you, can't they?
No, you seem very... I do love your joys. They are very entertaining.
Yes, but how much value is the ability to entertain a Lasarian? That's
I don't
like being
know.
able to entertain a couch or a clock.
Hmm.
I suppose it was just enough that I found it funny.
You sim a lot, my friend. Supposedly from the magician, I thought he'd be a lot smarter than that. More insightful. But, I guess, anybody born in the magician's kind of was an arrogant ass.
Well, perhaps. I've always been less concerned with how my ass looks than on whether or not I can get it out of trouble.
There's just a fucking smile on Zell's face. But Rebecca Lights can fucking tell. And probably Ember. Zell does not like this guy 100%. If this wasn't a ball, he would be really upset.
But he's keeping very straight, smiling face. Well, it was a pleasure to meet you. Now, if you don't mind me, I'd rather talk to my friends.
He walks away.
Calmly.
Doesn't say anything. Doesn't have a single change of expression.
Zell just kind of walks to Buffett.
She's kind of coming back with some food, just looking at that display. Standing there awkwardly and just sharing food with people. She's like, "Ah, here, I got you. Got you some platters."
Demetrius, were you making friends? Something like that. Did you know that I'm pretty much the only friend that this man has ever had? He's a rather unlikable fellow, but
I've
a
noticed.
good man. Oh, yes. Don't speak too highly of me.
I'm sorry, does Eliza get any certain vibe or insight off of him?
Give me an insight check.
I was about to ask as well.
Yeah. Well, that
Yeah.
shit would have vanished. 29 plus D4. Hell yeah, 31.
Guy looks hard to read.
Oh fuck!
Well,
He rolled high.
I kind of see it as if somebody can deal with some very unpleasant first impressions, and they sit down and try to know you, then they're worth actually, I don't know, speaking to. Then again, I kind of do the same thing where I definitely like to instigate.
Nope.
Sorry, loud noises outside. It's summertime, and people like to drive really loudly. But anyways, yeah, I like to instigate stuff just to see reactions, but you can learn a lot about that.
I am less concerned with making friends, and more concerned with making sure my good friend, Barak, doesn't find himself in a situation his good trust and good faith might regret.
Yep, she'll nod. Just like a cat that's hiding underneath a table, just clawing at people. Yeah.
That's his way of saying that he thinks that he needs to protect me. I've already told you, Demetrius. You don't need to worry about me. We've got far more pressing concerns. After all, our unnameable enemy walks in our very midst, so bold as to drink and party right next to me. Huh!
So about that maelstrom. She's just taking a drink of her water. Yep.
And
I've heard about it, actually. It sounds rather amazing, and I am sorry that I was not there to be able to see it.
I'm busy. That's fine.
well, you'll have many other opportunities.
Yeah. It was broadcasted on the radio, so a lot of other people have to at least
You
hear
do
about it.
remember our agreement, don't you?
Oh, of course I do. Puffs out her, gives a very stern warrior stance, puffs the chest up pridefully. Yep. What?
And then I look forward to hearing your victory over the Crucible.
Work in progress. Just starts gnawing on a chicken leg and eventually kind of walks to go to this area by the musician. But as she walks by Demetrius, she kind of just leans in and quietly, I do wish to compare some notes if you do have free time the next upcoming weeks. Yeah.
I will reach out to you.
She'll just give a
Not this week, but the one after.
She'll bow slightly, nod slightly, and just sit down and take a little short rest, munching.
Munch, munch.
Yeah, munch.
And
As you're munching,
Yeah.
Zale,
Mm-hmm.
give her. What's your passive perception?
17.
Okay. You feel as something gets pressed into your palm, and then you turn, and it's just like a group of like nobles walking past, and you can't catch anybody in the crowd. And servant tries to offer you a drink, and you look away as you unfurl this piece of paper, and it says, I'll send it to you.
Actually, she'll probably sit down over here to eat.
Wow, that was a big leap there.
Just, whoops. Fucking long jump, standing long jump.
And with that, we'll break here for a moment.
Oh boy.
Alright.
Babette
Uh-huh.
Serious note followed by a break.
But I am frightened.
Uh-huh.
A serious note
Oh.
followed by a break. Yep, that's not sus at all, guys. Amber's leaving.
Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Shit.
Oh, I want to know.
Feel free to mention it to anybody that you would be mentioning it to.
Hanu's probably right next to me right now, right?
No, yeah, she's sitting down wherever it's appropriate to eat.
No,
or
I'm
leaning
gonna have
up
to have-
somewhere. I don't know. She's probably standing. Since
Alright,
eating. I don't know.
Babette.
Huh?
Team up. Cause I'm
Where
gonna
I
need
can't.
Oh.
I can't see token.
Yeah, we know where you're at, bro.
Oh, I don't know why. I'm not on the map?
Nope.
Oh.
She was over here eating.
Yeah. I guess you'll put my token down. Yeah. Babette.
Yes.
I'd
What
probably let Babette know. Kind of
Gonna
just
send it to
pass
me.
it.
Or...
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
Okay. Oh boy.
Hmm?
Oh boy.
Mm-hmm. 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 Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
How good are you at, like, stock following?
That's a good question. I mean,
You
I
have your
know.
umbrella.
I do. I do indeed have my umbrella. I specified that I wanted my umbrella, so
Yeah, well, that's
my
why I
entire
headed
outfit
you first.
to it.
Yeah, that's why I headed you first.
Yeah, well, I got them advantage sneak boots, so
Mm-hmm.
that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's gonna be Zale and Babette. You telling anybody else where you're going before you leave?
I feel like Bebet would insist.
Yeah, no, Zell's gonna tell Hanu.
Hmm?
Hanu, what's the spells you have prepped today?
I don't remember. I know
Do you
she
have
has.
spending?
Uh.
No, we have earpiece. Never
Yeah,
mind.
we have
Don't
earpieces.
say that. He will tell Hanu, and pretty much right in the kind of front of your face and no one can see.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of pass you, like pass you something. This. Oh. Where are you? There you are.
Okay.
So, we'll say, well, I am kind of feeling stuff in him, so I can go to the gardens a little bit.
Alright.
Get some
She'll
fresh air.
pat you. Give you a good pat.
As you heard from Marcellus when he needed that distraction to get into the halls was because the rest of the palace is all blocked up.
Yep. So,
So
hey, Brock.
we're on break.
Oh, yeah, we're on break. So fuck.
Yep. Before, because this would have, you had stepped away for that moment, but after Valerie gave her whole kind of business talk over, she would have just taken her side, so just tell me what happened, oh my gosh, are you okay? Kind of asking her about her incident, but other than that, yeah, nothing too out of the ordinary.
A mountain.
Was it an avalanche? I heard those
Like a
happen.
whole entire side of the mountain like collapsed out from underneath her
No
while she was
fucking way.
skiing.
I don't know, she's like, I heard that actually does happen. Dang. Okay, wow. Did you like starts making maneuvering hands of like did he do flips? Or I don't know. But yeah.
I guess also he would
I,
also.
I did a flip, but it was right before I cast fly on myself.
Oh, you know what? Got that air. Good thinking. Yeah. She would have entertained Avery a little bit prior to going to Brock, but yeah, that's just
Like I was on a mountain and
Yeah.
skiing and Sauvignon and
avalanche.
nearly died because of an avalanche.
It's like, wow.
Oh, by the way, I also found that information out and found out that evidently there was like blood in his apartment and people think he might have been killed and he's been missing for 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Or is that Coraline? Did it correlate anything from what we said?
Oh no.
Because it's 1 week.
That's a week before you had. It was a week before you had your fucking incident with Pridwin, and it was the same week that your Maelstrom debut was.
So I'm pretty sure.
Remember, she was skiing that week.
She was skiing that week. Yeah, that's right.
Remember?
I remember. Yeah.
Looks like Pridwin works fast.
It's Pridwin for you.
It's the same. That's the same time that he said that the Ashfall Covenant was doing their split, right? So, you know that they've like splintered off and made a like rogue group now.
Yep. So stuff happens.
Here's what their name is.
Oh,
I
Ashvision.
stopped explaining that.
Yeah. Spider made the key, which Huh.
She didn't want to say it out loud, but she was like, yeah, well, I mean, maybe that's what he wants us to believe, but okay. But that's when in her mind, she was just
Yeah.
thinking,
Oh.
we'll see.
Yeah, it's a.
We
we'll
also,
see, you know.
I mean, you also did check him up in 1983, and you did, like, say, well, yeah, he's been killed quite a bit.
Yeah, I did
So
check him
that's
up.
why
He
we're
was
like,
killed quite
yeah,
a
I
bit.
mean, kind of
That's why
lines
that's why
up.
Del doesn't believe it. That's why it's like that's why he said interesting, but
Mm.
very like disinterest kind of interesting because he's like already looked up. This man seems to cannot die.
Yeah, so she was just like, oh, looked interested, but also be like, I have something on my mind, but I'm not saying it. So,
Ah.
There I am. Yay! Oh.
We're gonna try and give him a distraction to get out.
Yep. So, what rules would I have to? What rules would I have to make? Fuck. Should ask for Barack's help because you're like, you're loud. I'm loud. Want to see if you can lift that ice sculpture? Kind of for a moment, just trying to like rack ideas up, and looks to Ember too. Is like, I don't know, you want to be group effort?
Wait, are you telling Barack that you're trying to sneak out?
What? Oh, I thought we wanted direction.
Yeah, yeah, I'll tell that.
She's like, quiet down.
So you show Barack the thing?
No, I just
Okay.
don't want to sneak out because I don't actually like in here, which is half true. Because it's a talk with the
Well, I know that it is quite a dull party, but I'm certain that the Queen is going to be here any moment. We really ought to set a good example.
It's just for a quick breather. And I'll be right back.
Demetrius says, "You're really asking the wrong person." Hey, you look at Barack, and he just like looks like really meek, right? For such a big man right now. And like, I understand that your group works at a sort of different level. In many ways, I've heard that is part of what makes you work. However, we at Brilliant Pillar have a different way of handling things.
Oh, wait, do you want to, she'll point to her ice sculpture, I could actually make, like, a small rain cloud out of that. You want to do something wonky or something? Sorry, okay, alien terms, do you want to make quite the, spectacle? Oh.
How how high is the ceiling?
Oh no.
The ceiling is 75 feet high.
Okay, any small flames up there, like chandeliers?
Yep. Yeah, there's a bunch of
Yeah.
like
Alright,
floating
as they're
candelabras.
discussing this, Ember's just very discreetly, if possible, as difficult as that may be, find the closest one that he can pyrotechnics and make explode into fireworks.
Oh my god, yeah!
Okay. Alright. Go ahead and roll me deception with advantage.
Oh god, this is not going to be very good.
Hand.
Oh, 17. Not bad.
All right, heck yeah.
Not
All
bad.
right, just and this fireworks display overhead draws a bunch of ooh ah from the crowd, and there's this momentary window. It's like shadows cast from it are even darker, and that little bit of darkness behind the guard, distracted by this pyrotechnic display. You open up the door and you step through onto the other side, and you're instantly, hear the sounds of music and the laughter inside kind of din down to a quiet.
Okay.
A long hallway, a few lit candles along the way, shining with magic light. And you can see the opened archways that lead out into the garden on your left.
Alright.
It's a
Also,
maze of hedges and a few floating lights that kind of bob around like willow wisps, giving this ambient orange glow in the night. Almost as if the stars have come down to visit the garden and the garden palace.
Start heading in this direction.
Also remember,
quietly.
there's a setting on the earpiece where 10-foot radius, you can pick up any conversation. So
Yeah, I know.
switch it
Zell
on to
is
that. So,
definitely switching that on.
Babette
Uh,
is sneaks out umbrella up as she does.
Okay, alright.
Yeah, so very kind of just casually and quietly just kind of.
Babette, how far behind Zale are you?
I would say what, like 60 or more feet behind, like enough so that she would be able to potentially like kind of pick up stuff, but also enough that like, any
Sort of a
noise.
hedge maze, so you could probably be about 15, 20 feet behind him at any time.
Yeah, I
Go
was gonna
20.
say 15, 20 feet.
Yeah, my brain like completely just decided not to retain the word hedge maze. So
Mm.
yeah, so about
Yeah, because I could disappear
on the-
real quick.
yeah, 20 then.
Okay. Alright, so you're walking 20 feet behind him underneath this parasol as you lift it up, stepping out into the hedge maze. Zale, you watch as she disappears underneath it. And you walk ahead through it for a little while until you see the light first of a lamp coming from around the corner. And you can hear someone kind of pacing, sounds like fidgeting. And as you walk around the other side, you see the short gnome standing there. All right, he's dressed in like kind of academic-like robes, and he's got a bunch of scrolls that he's got in a satchel on his waist, and poking right out of it. And he looks at you with this sort of spiky blonde hair and this little goatee of his, and as his eyes kind of peering from behind the lantern as its light casts on you, and he Babette, standing 20 feet behind would be just around the corner, so the light is like in front of you, but it hasn't cast its light on you.
it,
And
that
um,
also might be the lantern that Rue found, which also I
Yeah,
think
that's why I wanted to stay as far
So-
back, but as I could from him.
So yeah,
Mhm.
keep that in mind.
Vale, you recognize that it is a magical item that is shining on you at the moment.
Mhm.
As the light shines on you, the sound that the rest of you had heard of him like breathing and walking suddenly goes dead. So you came. Good, good. Good.
Can I ask who you are?
Mm, that does not matter. And what matters is what I know, and you know what I know.
Hmm. Proceed then, what do you know?
I am a scholar, a historical scholar, and when I saw her, I knew immediately. She may be pretending to be a striker for the Sea Saints, but she is unmistakable.
Hmm. So it kind of starts, kind of just a little bit pacing. And what do you tend to do with this information?
I will tell the world. I will tell everyone. Everyone must know that the true saint lives.
Can I ask you a question? Do you... How do you feel about Saint Ava?
You have now asked me 2 questions, and I will tell you, it does not matter. You have a lot of money, do you not? You have opened 18 stadiums. I want to live comfortably for the rest of my life. No. I want me and to have one to also live comfortably forever.
So you're... What, are you blackmailing me for money?
Yes, money. One does not live comfortably without money, does one not?
Why do this? You know how important she is, so why put her in more grave danger?
I figure that if she is not saying it, it is because you are trying to keep it a secret, and you wish to reveal it at the most opportune time. A strategic decision, no doubt, that I can understand and respect, which is why I am making my own strategic decision to take you for as much money as I can. Knowledge is power.
How much do you want?
I want to live comfortably for the rest of my life, like a noble. I want my own estate, a vineyard with much land, and I want my schooling and all of my debts for my schooling to be paid for, as well the schooling for any of my children if I ever have any.
Can Papa
And I want
hear
it
all
in
this?
paperwork.
Can Papa hear all this?
Yeah, he's being pretty decently loud about it.
And
Speaking in a somewhat hushed voice, but it's not like he's whispering.
are we able to hear this on the earpieces, or is
No,
that
No,
lantern?
it's snuffed out the.
Yeah, the
as soon as the
lantern's doing
lights.
that. Okay, gotcha.
The bet's out of
And the bet's range. She's 20 feet back.
Yeah,
So
shit.
Oh, you chance making you
Would-
think of moral decisions.
as saying that, you hear a. Oh, Sickle. Oh, you naughty child, you. Are you sneaking out for a stroll? Oh, I apologize. Is this a tryst that I've walked in on?
Good timing, Prince.
He walked right past you for that.
Yes, we have.
I am going to get what I want. Yeah, I know that you work for him. Do not try and be coy. I have observed you. Yes, you are the public relations expert. So
Surely you can tell them the pros of taking a loss when somebody has a surefire thing to hold over them. Oh, wait. So this isn't a tryst. This is blackmail. Oh, I too love blackmail. You can get so much done, can't it? But I guess it really depends on what you know. Well, and he goes, well, I know something very important. I know that the striker for the Sea Saints is none other than Saint Ava herself. Do you now?
Everyone's picking up what Prince is saying, right?
Wow. That is a very concerning thing to know, isn't it, Sale? It's quite concerning. That could be a lot of trouble. What's he asking for?
To live comfortably.
Oh. Oh, I can help you with that right now, actually. That's no problem at all. You didn't have to do with all of this for it. But you certainly got our attention. And you watch as he puts his foot right into his chest and kicks him into this bush. And you see as the plant there opens up and swallows the gnome whole.
Hell yeah.
Ooh. Well, I'm certain you're going to be quite comfortable there.
There's just a kind of like a look of like the dog kind of looks towards it a little bit and just kind of sighs and kind of like looks away.
Oh, don't look at me like that, Zale. If you start giving one of them scraps like this, then more of them are going to come before you know it. In fact, you think that giving him a comfortable life was going to be enough.
No, he would ask for more. Once he got a taste of it.
I bet puts the umbrella down. And then just starts whispering
What
all
is
of
that news about the striker being Saint Ava? He certainly seemed very certain, and you seemed very worried. Is there something to this? Come now, Zale. I'm here to maintain your image. You can't keep secrets from me. How am I supposed to protect you?
So kind of like looks to you about that.
And Babette will kind of look at Prince and just say, it's a comparison we've heard before. It's not something we have any proof of, but a lot of people
Oh, you revealed yourself? Sorry, I didn't realize that had happened.
did.
Yeah, she revealed herself.
He put the umbrella down once the guy got kicked into the bush.
As this is
Got
happening,
it.
she's Son is sliding up to Eliza and being like, "Do you actually see Prince over here? Did he just slide out?" Yeah, it's just hearing this conversation going on there. She's eating food.
So,
yeah, there's Eliza.
Oh, you would only hear this tail end right there as he's saying you
Yeah.
gotta, as he's talking about, you know,
Zell's
well, he's
gonna
trying to get out of it.
mute his earpiece and take it off. He kind of tells Babette to kind of do the same thing real quick. Kind of gives you a look.
Yeah, okay. Babette will.
Alright.
Yeah. And yeah, Babette was saying that was in the middle of trying to lie. But if Zale gives her a look, she'll stop and just be like, "I guess this is you then."
He also said, he's also saying take out the earpiece and turn off.
Yeah, she said that she did.
Okay. Are we alone here? He talks to Prince.
Oh, of course we are. I wouldn't have done something like that if we weren't.
Mm.
Calling her Saint Ava is not entirely true. Say she is more a reincarnation of it, but not exactly.
Ooh, that is juicy. Reincarnation or the real deal. That's changing history right there.
Which is why we try to keep it a secret, but it seems like we are being observed quite firmly.
Well, I mean, that's what happens when you put yourselves into the spotlight. Remember, you made quite an entrance, and you haven't really let up since arriving.
Yeah, I know. No, I. He kind of looks to the bed and
It
kind of.
has been, though it has been curious to me why you've chosen to be such homebodies since being here. I mean, other than that business beneath the temple and Anashuk, you've all been relatively quiet. I suppose it must have something to do with this Ava that's not Ava.
Color Gwen.
Oh, I thought there was something peculiar about her.
I hope you know I am telling you this information because I do trust you.
Whoa, why all the business with the secrecy? Why not just tell the world? I mean, I'm certain that the world would love to hear this news, and it could be profitable.
Well,
It could also be
Problem.
incredibly damaging. We want to
Exactly.
have all of the information
And we
before
have
we do it.
enemies.
Oh, well, what information are you missing?
That bet looks back to Zale.
We have enemies with an Anvil. Being.
Before Zale continues, can I make a quick
Zale.
on
Yeah, of
Prince?
course. Yeah. Zale. Listen. If you've got enemies, then I've got enemies. I mean, after all, I control your public image. If you've got people out there that are trying to make issues for you, I can only do any sort of good if you tell me about it. Also, it's somewhat putting my life in danger, not.
Mm.
What's your insight check?
Not clicking.
Oh.
But as this is happening before they went off the radar, we don't see Prince at all, as well as they are
No.
there. Okay. Alright, good. Okay.
It's not.
Oh, you
Dude,
did a
that
lot
guy-
of air acrobatics. But
Yeah.
What?
I did
First one was
acrobatics
a
instead.
12. So whatever your 12 plus your modifiers are.
It's not even
what?
refreshing.
That's weird.
I apologize.
No, you're fine.
Yeah, you're
Oh,
right.
That's weird. Even her insight's supposed to be XP, so it's supposed to
But
be
Pet,
4
now's
plus 5.
not the time to do that. It's that one thing when they have like interact with objects, but it's also the jump button at the same time. Just doing some backflips.
Oh man, this is a moment. We tell fucking friends everything.
Why did it roll acrobatics? What the
Mhm.
hell?
I know that's weird. But he is our public image. And if you want to shout out, this is going through Zell's mind, just out of character. Zell thinks cluing Prince in will really help us with the protectors.
Yeah.
and targeting and helping really target them down.
I
He got
mean,
rid of the threat
yeah,
that Zell was about to order. He was about to lead this dude and have Bebet kill him. Just putting that fucking
yeah. No,
out
I
there.
was gonna message you like, just kill him. Honestly, that's
Yeah,
just me.
yeah. There was
Damn, you
that.
guys are just killing some guy for trying to pay off his student debts. If it ain't, that's like almost alignment shift worthy.
Yeah.
Jesus.
That's me as a person.
Yeah, that
All
was
right,
me as a
that is
person. I was
me.
really trying to think of what Zell would do because he knows logically what this guy's gonna do afterwards. But he's like, how can I get rid of him or at least make him silent without killing this man? But Michelle was like, I would just silence him like fucking John Wick.
Yeah, she rolled a 22 insight. She's just trying to figure out what he's thinking. Like,
22, nice.
yeah,
Seems to be thinking what he's saying.
it's all for the PR.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
also, he did seem to be somewhat concerned about his life when he mentioned that part.
The bomb.
Okay. Yeah, and so if yeah, that's kind of where he's at. It's straight for us as opposed to like any other weird shit.
No, yeah, he just seems to be everything you said. He seems to mean, and he did seem to be like genuinely concerned about his life when he mentioned that whole part about your enemies being my enemies.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of putting me in danger not to tell
Okay.
me.
So kind of looked above that. That's just he seemed and kind of like wait for like a nod. to continue.
And yeah, she'll nod.
Our enemy is the. Do you know the Order of Admonius?
Oh, of course I do. Knightly orders, aren't they the worst?
They are our enemy.
They're your enemy? Oh. Well, you certainly went in for the big one, didn't you?
Yes, we did.
Do you know who the leader of that group is? I mean, that's not anybody I'd want to tangle with. Oh.
No, actually. Who is he?
Oh, you've already seen him. Oh, these days he's a...
Oh.
Garen Lion's Crest.
I knew it!
But he doesn't take a direct affair in it most of these days. That's done instead by the Black Count.
The Black Count. Who's he?
Oh, well, the Black Count used to be a bishop. That is when it's said that he gave up his noble name and went off to Stygia, where he learned about fighting demons and foul creatures and became a man of faith. Yeah. Of course, that didn't seem to stick. Evidently, he had a certain liking for hedonistic tendencies that even they couldn't look away from. And they look away from quite a lot down there.
Huh. Well, from the information we have, that's actually really good information.
His actual name is Cassius. Though he got rid of his noble last name. However, history and family lineages are rarely forgotten. Even when abandoned. And when he returned back, he ended up becoming the new leader of the Order of Asmodeus. Though everybody knows that he still answers to Garen Lion's Crest. What did you possibly do to make such an enemy of them? I mean, after all, they practically worship the ground saints walk on.
Yeah. Though they have legitimate motives for the city. I don't know.
Wait, are you saying that there's another reason for them being here, not at the war?
Yes. It's to take over the city.
A coup?
Mm. A coup led by devils.
Devils? What are you talking about now, Zale?
There are beings we have encountered here in Arville.
That we should
That's-
perhaps discuss
Yes.
outside of the palace.
One thing is for certain, and you take the note that the dude wrote, you write something down, and he would show it the prince, and it would say, just kind of quickly as he holds it, someone intends for the queen to be possessed.
Oh.
And he burns it.
Well, perhaps we should go to Lady Lysandra about this. Garen himself might be questionable, but no one could ever call Lady Lysandra a traitor.
No, she is on our side. We know that for a fact.
Oh, this just gets more interesting with each sentence. I'm positively gleeful.
It's also the reason why we were so adamant of winning over the protectors.
Well, if you're looking to try and win over the knightly orders from underneath the Order of Asmodeus, you're gonna have a hard time with that one. They all idolize Garen Lionscrest. The Lions Guard are everything that they want to be. Though, of course, that does mean that every one of them wishes to supplant their position. There might be something we could do about that. Though, of course, it might not be as clean as most of our other operations have been.
Yes, I think definitely we should go into specific, maybe in your office.
Oh. Well, I think that I'll just drop on by your place, and we could talk about it there.
Mm. That would be grand. And thank you for your
Oh,
time.
lovely. Oh, any time, Zale. It's what I'm here for. Now let's go back into this party. I'm so excited to see how it turns out.
Zell would wait for Prince to walk further away, and he kind of walks towards.
No, he's gonna put you both in
Oh,
his
he's gonna
arms,
put
like,
his mom.
like,
Damn it!
like he's gonna link his arms through both of you with him in the middle, as if
Caught.
he is skipping off to go see the Wizard of Oz. Okay.
Yep,
And-
yep. We just go along, man. Zell just has a lot of fucking things in his mind right now.
The vision that I had got under with Tasha's
Of blood in the
guidance.
garden.
Was that
Yeah.
nighttime? If okay, gotcha.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yep.
So she's just munching on something. Once you just tell her, she'll just nod, like, "Oh, okay," and just continue eating.
Oh,
That's
That is a
Yeah.
very seer response.
very
Okay.
yeah. Someone puts his earpiece back in by that point too before he enters. So, but yeah, you just see
Yeah.
like a look of Zell, just like kind of just a face of like most of serious thinking.
Mm.
Ah,
As you make your way back inside, the guards are momentarily distracted by the sounds of like a royal fanfare of trumpets going off, and you see that the princess has gone up and taken she's the princess has taken the throne, and she's sitting there, and as the royal fanfare dies down and the trumpets end, you've stepped back through the door and are mingled back with your ally. You see, as everyone in the room that had been occupied in conversations all turn and look in her direction. And for a brief moment, things get quieter. And her voice, carried by some sort of enchantment, perhaps from the throne, perhaps from the room itself, reaches all of you, despite not speaking much more than a normal conversational tone. I deeply apologize for the wait. As you know, the Queen has been fighting on the front lines as Yellum presses ever closer. I am certain that if she were here, she would have much to tell you about the war. And I'm certain she would tell us that no matter what, in war the brave always press forward, no matter the setback. She nods from the different people, even a couple of the knights, as ironic as it is. So, in that regard, so too shall we press forward with the evening's festivities. Because war is not the only thing that Avale is unparalleled in. None can outmatch us when it comes to throwing a party. The gardens have been opened, enjoy the music and the company, and remember that in all things we must sow the seeds of freedom. And then, like, resounded by many people throughout the room, for hope is the harvest. There's royal fanfare of trumpets. The music kicks back in. People start dancing. The doors open up, and you see as some people start making their way out into the gardens, but many just stay exactly where they are.
Polite clapping all around. Ah, yes, yes. Good job, princess. Yes.
yeah.
Golf claps.
Oh,
Yeah.
beautiful.
She sits there for some time, rather astute looking, as like a couple of people like approach the throne and ask her questions. From where you're at, you can actually kind of overhear most of it. She's most of the questions are just asking how the warfare is for her mother, and most of her answers are just along the lines of, I'm certain she'll be happy to tell you when she arrives. And and then pleasant exchanges about how are your children, and blah blah blah. And
Any weird magical things going on between any of these people coming up to her?
I mean, everybody's wearing crazy magical gowns, so
How high is this? It's quite quite tall, like probably 10 feet off the ground, right? This
this yeah,
thing?
it's about
Okay.
10 feet off the ground, yeah.
Okay. Well, Hunter will try to at least jump up and give her a thumbs up. Really hard.
That's such a Haunted thing to do.
That's
Like,
adorable.
dude, it's so great.
I love it.
I support you. And even if she has to go a little bit further away, but she's like,
Straightens her chin.
So it's like kind of like behind his okay, be careful for your heels. They're not really good for jumping.
What? No, I took them off, bro.
Would you it looks out at your bare feet?
Yeah, puts them back on.
do
Fine,
that?
whatever. this, whatever. Yeah, starts mumbling, puts them back on. Well, I'm sure you guys had an interesting side adventure. I am just gonna go through here, see what Wander's up to, if anybody else wants to come along.
Yeah, I should join you.
Ember, my bro.
Yes, get me out of
Yeah,
here.
okay, come here, let's go.
Oh, I really can't move Zell. Funny enough, I get pulled back to the position.
And she will look back to Eliza and Babette and be like, nod of, you know, like, before that we had, Zeno, Zale, and her were talking about, like, we're just gonna keep a keen eye on the queen when she arrives, like, kind of shifts of looking over her kind of thing, so she'd give you guys a look of, keep sight of what's going on up here. And then she just wanders on down, giving people pleasantries, taking notice if anybody's, like, really
People
following
walk
them.
up and, mention that they'd, like, heard about or seen, your impressive entrance in Sante Rumiere. But asking if there's any other exciting adventures you've been on recently, but, you're kind of like, no, we've just been focused on this maelstrom thing, and kind of continuing on your way with your pleasantries. So you make your way down towards Wander, who is still engaged in conversation with the garden snake.
Alright, yeah, she would have picked up some food alongside, and be like, awkwardly stand a little bit further. But she would mention to Ember of, okay, these two are people that were on our ship when there was that explosion, we had saved them, and just kind of, she wants to do a wellness check, but also she's just wants to move around, can't stay still in one spot as we're approaching there. And she'll just do a once over Zale to see how he's doing and be like, okay, we'll talk later, bro.
Bows as you approach. Wander scratches the back of his neck and goes, "Oh, hey, Hanu. I would have made my way over and said hi, but I've been caught up exchanging stories with an old friend."
Here, and just hands over the food.
Oh, yeah, I've been so hungry. He grudges, stuffing his face.
Yeah, I figured you probably didn't come over because you were too hungry to even attempt to walk. And she will give like a separate nod to both of you, to both of them. Well, I'm glad you're both doing better since the last time.
Of course, you were a great aid, and we are searching for more leads for friends here in Ave. But they have been hard to find. They seem to have their own issues. Tales that their knights will not raise their swords.
Yeah, it seems to be a very complicated, sticky situation. Indeed. Multifaceted. And just starts bumbling slightly.
Inshallah, we would never have this issue.
Yeah, kind of figured. I don't know. It seems to be people taking advantage of a situation. Yeah.
So, it would appear that you know my friend Wanda.
Yep.
I lost track of him after the accident in Sante Rumiere.
We kind of ended up going the same path. So, we managed to travel along with him, and he's just been... Actually, he's really great at cleaning. I am kind of jealous. I have told him that many times. Perfect technique. Probably just Shaolan.
Wanda, you have been with them, and you have been cleaning?
It's a very
Yeah, just happy to help however I can.
yeah. It is like perfect technique. I've seen this in like stories of if you're able to make something spotless, you're yeah. Anyway, okay, I'm gonna be rambling about like martial arts stuff and whatnot. I don't want to be taking up the whole evening because I could talk forever, honestly, about this.
Wanda, have you seen Tusi? She said she was coming, but if I know her, she probably isn't gonna come until the garden is open.
Oh, yeah. It's open right now.
So we have 2 members of the Zodiac 13 here. Shala must be feeling defenseless without both of your presences.
Wait 1 second. Am I familiar with this? Is she familiar?
Give me a history check.
She'll be like,
Can I do a history check?
I know,
Well?
she's looking over
Yeah.
at Zale, and we were like, oh, what? And I'll give you guidance as we mumble to ourselves. Do you really think? Little guidance. Wonderful.
Okay.
Yeah.
29.
You would know that the Zodiac 13 is a storied group of adventurers from Xiaola. They are there are 13 of them, and they've been around for some time. Each one of them has taken on a name that is usually indicative of an animal of some sort. You also know this group because you know that it is a group that Kumosuchi was at one point a part of. He was the spider in the group, which was something you figured out when you first had been looking into him.
Huh. Whoa, Wanderer! You're full of surprises.
No, I don't know about that. Ain't much to really talk about here. I mean, maybe I went on an adventure or two once before. Honestly, I don't even remember most of it.
I see. Say,
Wanda, would you care to walk with me to find your friend in the garden?
It's like disappointed mom talk right now.
Actually, I was gonna go look for the bathroom. Oh, I ate so much so fast, I really gotta go. Wanda? And he's gone.
Just watches it. I mean, technically, the outdoors is also like the biggest bathroom you can go to, so she just watches him just bolt. Okay.
You seem to have a very interesting relationship with them.
I am an ambassador from Xiaola. Of course I know of the Zodiac 13.
Yeah.
Would you like to meet another member?
Oh boy.
Maybe
So
they
actually-
will tell you more about Wanda, but he will not.
Yes, actually, I would quite enjoy that, actually.
Tusi is a curious person. Not every member of the Zodiac 13 fully emblemizes their particular animal so keenly. I mean, imagine if Wanda was actually a monkey. That would be strange.
That would be
Whereas,
embarrassing.
however, 2Z may look similar to a rabbit. I would not mistake her for one. Also, do not call her a bunny.
Understood.
Just as you're getting ready to head up that way, you walk up towards the door that you'd head out before. They're all opened now, and you hear another sound of trumpets going off. All right, fanfare, and you hear the actual galloping of horse hooves. All right, as you watch as several people on the backs of what look to be ghostly horses cast in this bluish arcane light ride into the throne room. People like move
Hell
out of the
yeah.
way, startled, and the horses disapparate underneath their legs, and they just all land rather easily in stride in the middle of the throne room and the middle of the ball dancing area as the queen looks around next to her and she walks up to one of the people with a tray and grabs a drink off of it and takes a long drink of it and goes, "I'm sorry, I thought that there was a party going on. Music?" And it starts to play again, and she's like, "Ah, please tell me this is not all we've got." She shakes her head and walks up and sits on the throne. The musicians like start to try and play another song, and she's like, oh yes, my grandmother, she loved this one very, very much. Ah, yes. But I'm mistaken. I thought that we were on the forefront of culture. Is this what the culture of Arvel has to offer us? Nothing in 200 years. Somebody find real music. You watch as the guards actually kind of meekly escort out the very embarrassed musicians. And she
Oh,
sits up on her throne and she kind of lays back with her goblet in her hand, wine glass, and kind of just looks like you can see she's still in military garb, and there's blood kind of still like splattered across the metal on the front of it, and dirt all over her boots, and like mud caked up on her riding pants. And she looks around and she goes, "I hope that you all were not waiting on me. I heard that my daughter gave quite a rousing speech." There's a nod of acquiescence, some applause towards the princess, who gives like a meek little bow and stuff, and
Does the thaumaturgy whistle the loud one from across the thing? little cheer.
She smirks at you guys and she gives a wink, and you see as one of the nobles nearby pipes up with a, "How fares the war, Our Lady?" And her smirk kind of goes to this grimace. She grits her teeth and she shoots like dagger eyes at this person, and she goes, "Oh, Lord Vertu, you made it. Oh, I was so worried that you wouldn't make it all the way from that lovely vacation home of yours. Where was that again? Mont de Ambition. It has a fantastic vineyard, my lady. I brought a bottle if you would like some." And she goes, "Oh, no, actually, I actually have a couple of bottles myself." And you watch as a couple of people come out with trays with just full bottles of wine, all right? No longer goblets. They're just bringing out bottles and just like handing them out to groups and pouring them into their glasses and leaving them with the bottle. And some of the people will look around and you hear remarks of, "Hey, this is from my vineyard. Hey, hey, and she's like, "Oh, yes, I thought that you might recognize it. I made sure to bring up some after I bought all of your estates." And there's a
I love her so much. Best queen ever.
sudden drop of silence, and there's no music playing anymore because she sent the band away. And the people that had been like
Fuck.
laughing and like talking about the music and the conversation, or the wine and the conversations, all come to a still.
Hanu backpedals.
Oh, don't be so offended. I mean, I bought many of your estates, not just yours, Lord Vitru. As he had, like, blurted out, "This is unreasonable, my lady!" In fact, I thought that this would be the perfect time for an award ceremony. As you see several of the knights that she had rode in on kind of like, you know, like give like a sudden kneel all at once at the same moment as in front of her throne in this sort of half circle in front of her. And she stands up from her throne and she walks up to the first one. Her eyes are like, you know, just moving like blade cutting through butter across this entire room of noble parties beyond these kneeling knights in front of her. These are true heroes. Did you know that of these, each one of them has been a unquestionable aid in our war? In fact, if it were not for them, thousands of lives would have been lost. I thought, why not celebrate the new year by giving them a great award? But what are medals? What are titles other than an excuse for an entitlement? No, I thought instead that they should have something to look forward to when they come back. After all, many do not. My lady, please, you have to understand this. This is completely unreasonable. This is unheard of. Oh, unheard of. I like that. You see, it used to be that knights fought to protect the lives of their fellow citizens.
Oh, shit.
Now they say they don't fight to protect the honor of the same citizens. She spits. I say, what do you people know about honor when you can't live up to your own vows?
How's Garen looking?
Please. He's standing there, straight, standard. Looks like he's, you know, in his bodyguard mode, looking like he's, you know, looking for any sign of threat in the crowd.
Hanu's thaumaturging some reactions of ooh, oh,
Yeah.
all the way, all over the place, and
That
nudging
is just,
Ember,
like,
like,
kinda like-
holy shit, this is great.
Yeah,
Yeah, it sounds
she's-
like
she's trying to
smart
get
cat
Barack
is.
in on that too. That is.
Now that is a queen. And you see as she sits back down on her throne, and they all stand up in front of her, and a couple of servants come out, and they have these velvet little pillows in their hands with just these keys laying on top of them. All right, as she literally hands them out the keys to each of those estates. And you can hear murmuring amongst all of the crowds, and she goes, "But please, let's enjoy the evening. After all, it is a new year ahead of us, one where we can make new decisions, perhaps better ones. And what better way to inspire us to making these better decisions than to mingle with real heroes? Consider yourselves fortunate." And she sits back down on her throne.
And once she does that,
and
Babette is gonna try and like lock eyes with Hanu from across the room wherever she is,
Mhm.
and just start cheering,
Oh.
and really just start trying to like rouse the crowd and kind of like elbow Barack like cheer with us.
There's like a definite tension across the room as you guys cheer, and most of the other people kind of exchange these like, and she smirks in y'all's direction, you know, looking a little smug for a moment, but like, you know, like confidently so, and she just lays back in the thing, and she goes, Oh, speaking of heroes! And she waves her hand towards you guys. The conversation suddenly get really intense amongst all the circles of people as they suddenly start wondering about their lost estates and about all the things that are going on. The knights go out into the crowd and stuff. Several people actually approach them and stuff. You can tell if the attempt to curry favor is suddenly going into full mode.
I was gonna say, could Babette get, like, as she's on her way to the queen, get a vibe check on that? Like, is this trying to curry favor, or I'm plotting?
A lot of people are.
Yeah.
A lot of people are trying to curry favor. There might be a couple of people trying to plot demises, but it's really hard to tell amongst all of them. And most of them, a lot of them are actually even wearing masks. So like,
That's fair.
After.
Yeah, Zell's mind is kind of like working and being in like, that was great, but then I can understand it
Yeah,
where
exactly.
there's opportunities right now.
just
There's
two
one-
fingers. She just gestures for you guys to come towards her.
Okay.
Yeah, he kind of does a bow to what's the lady that we're talking to
Garden
on right now?
snake.
The garden snake.
The garden snake.
We will meet you later.
Yeah.
So the queen of Zarnes.
I should give a
Babette takes her lead to the rock.
an appropriate bow to both of them, but then mumble to Garden Snake. Yeah, I didn't really want to say the elephant in the room, but she kind of addressed it right up front. Anyways, see later. Gives a very polite and formal bow to both of them, and then joins.
Yeah.
Okay. So you walk up. She says, "You hear as Lady DeCallister, like leaning in and being like saying, we shouldn't make more enemies when we're already overburdened with the abundance of them, my lady." And she just waves her hand in dismissal about it, and as you guys approach, she goes, "Ah, the paradoxes. Ah, it is refreshing to not have someone full of shit approach my throne. Please, come closer." All the knights that have been nearby take a couple of steps back, give you room, and she says, "You might think that is a bit much, but trust me, it was long overdue."
Oh, I definitely believe you.
We still have a good hour and a half until we can be done with this whole affair. An hour and a half of silence and whispers I cannot deal with. I have heard that you are married to a famous musician. Looks right at you, Sale.
Well,
You did not bring her for this evening. You should have. I believe that these people could do with hearing something a little more refreshing.
We're saying the same thing. And Zell, because Zell is that person, will have a sitting stone of Wisteria. And bring it out because he spent money on it. And you pretty much open and say, "Hey, do you want to sing at the palace right now? The queen, the royal palace."
She responds back that evidently, according to her bandmates, yes, she does.
And Zell
And
kind
they
of
said that they will. They said that they could be there in about half an hour.
Wait.
She and her band will be here in half an hour.
Should have told her that.
Oh, well, then half an hour of entertainment, I believe that we can supply.
Ah,
You.
what do you have in mind?
She looks right past you and looks right at Zarman.
Aside, Mike. Oh.
Well, half an hour of silence while we wait for your wife to come with entertainment. I believe that you and I might be able to entertain them for perhaps half of that time. Would you care for a duel?
Oh.
Oh.
See, I'm pretty sure this is how all holidays are supposed to be, but, you know.
Zell is so in the background, like, giving you, like,
My
the
lady,
thumbs
I'm
up.
not certain if that's appropriate. And thankfully, you're not the one who has to throw this party. And she stands up and
Oh.
she looks over at one of her knights nearby and says a couple of people. She just resounds out, not even using the throne, alright? Just stands up and by their own power of her own voice goes, "Me and Sir Ziminov are going to have a duel! How about that?" She applauds herself. A couple of the people around the place like start joining in a little like, what?
Yeah, we're coming
She
too.
struts into the middle where the dancers had been.
Zell goes like, "Oh, you got this, okay?"
Well, seems like no's not an answer here, so let's try this, I guess.
Okay.
It's okay.
You do your best, and she'll give you guidance. I believe in you.
They don't work in that situation, but okay.
She's.
Don't worry, if she tries to grapple me, I'll be good.
Yep. You never know. She might try to trip you. She seems like a very tactical fighter.
First, we're just going to summarize this one. So, as you step off across in front of each other, a few people mingle around, and she takes this long claymore out of a scabbard that's being held by the person next to her, and she walks out into the middle of it, looks across from you, and she gives you a nod of her head, and goes, "I am excited to see the blade of someone so virtuous. You do know that virtue is the sharpest whetstone." As she rushes towards you, I want you to go ahead and give me first an attack roll.
Yeah, okay. Any channel divinity, or is it just right now?
You can channel divinity if you'd like.
Yeah, okay, because
Ooh,
I
Vegas.
forgot. Yeah, because I do have attunement towards the
Shatter Shaw.
Shatter Shawl, which I would rather use the Shatter
Mhm.
Shawl than the Magma War pick
Yes.
on the Queen.
Oh,
So
hell
Yes,
yes.
yes.
I would rather
Yes.
have the Shatter Shawl.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh my
I haven't
God.
set up that card yet, so it'll be the same as the attack roll of the War pick because it's a +1 weapon, but it's not the War pick, please.
Yes. Oh my God.
Gotcha.
And with Channel Divinity +11. Okay.
Grace over brainstorm.
Mhm.
Oh, this is entertainment.
Roll the 2.
I will channel divinity that one.
What?
They're like, don't you
Yeah.
guys believe in you, bro? One more time. There you
20.
Yeah.
Alright, okay. Yeah, she gets in a couple of really good hits and it backs you up really quick, but you manage to come in with one of those mighty swings that resounds so hard against her armor and her breastplate that it rings out through the entire courtroom, and she at that same moment ends up going to try and trip you, so I need you to give me an athletics check.
Hey,
See? She was doing enough sparring throughout this whole time to know what's up.
Alright.
29.
Natural
Oh,
20.
As she kind of does it, you instead end up like bashing her back, and she steadies out her legs, and she comes in for this hard swing, which just resounds hard against the inside of your leg, buckling it to the side for a moment. And while in that moment of vulnerability, you go to make your own strike again, and give me another attack roll.
20, nat 20, nat 20, nat 20. Ah!
And that one, she easily deflects it off to the side, and she goes in for another strike. And this one, you manage to move out of the way from it. It beds itself down into the floor. And she goes in to make another kick right towards your chest after she was still off balance from the inside blow to your knee. And go ahead and give me another athletics check. This one, she kicks you solid in the chest, and you end up landing on your back. And with that, go ahead and make me an attack roll, but at disadvantage. So.
I know Eliza or Rue could try to throw some inspiration at him left and right. Okay.
Yeah, I'd say she would give you inspiration, yes.
Yeah,
Especially once you'd hit the ground.
Yeah.
Eliza, yeah. No.
So, D8 plus what are your roll? Oh, it's D8.
Yeah.
Okay. In that one, you don't manage to end up making the hit, but it manages to make her.
I added the D8 now.
Yeah.
19.
Okay. Oh. In that case, you do hit actually, and
Hell yeah.
just as she'd been coming in for this mighty swing off of it, your blade ends up going up so fast from while you're on your back that it finds itself right at her right in the middle of her throat, and she swallows for a moment. And then there's applause from everybody around the room. She smirks and she embeds her sword right through the fucking marble of the floor, cracking it in the process. And she reaches down with a hand to lift you up.
Someone would take it.
She uses the sword as leverage. She's like holding onto the sword with leverage with the other hand to be able to pull you up. And she get up under her feet. She goes, "Ah, I am glad that you are on the right side of the throne. As I said, not only is virtue the best whetstone, but friendship, bonds, and loyalty are the things that keep us fighting even when we're on our backs."
Oh yeah,
He was able to do that because he knew his friends were nearby. She's addressing the crowds and stuff. Sorry, what were you saying?
The entire time as the fight started, Zarman's Shadow Shawl actually glue like as bright as a torch. I forgot to mention that because that's part of the sacred weapon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it was bright light 20 feet, dim light 20 feet. So it was just glowing silver light.
Hell yes.
Hanu gives Zarman a very proud pat on the shoulder, just and nods to the queen.
Fight lasted about 10 minutes. It was like actually a lot of fighting going on in this one. Where you kind of played and felt each other out for. Yep.
A lot of stalking around.
Yes. A bit of like testing each other out, you know, how hard I'm to like fight in the middle of a courtroom and stuff, or in the middle of a throne room, and you know, some remarks about, you know, swordplay, and then suddenly the aggressive last, you know, burst of the fight there at the end. And a couple of people come by. She grabs another one of the goblets and stuff, and she takes a drink out of it and says, "Well, I suppose in the meantime, feel free to enjoy whatever enjoyment you can make out of this hall.
I made.
Though I would hope that you not leave early. After the stroke of midnight, there are things that I would like to discuss with your group."
Okay.
Will do.
Yeah. Just points to the ice statue, and then points to herself, and then points back, and be like, "Oh wait, I gotta ice that up again," and then actually shapes water it so it stays frozen.
She raises an eyebrow, and it's like, "A warrior and an artist. Are you sure you're not Arvalian?"
I like water.
We wanted to We went there every time.
Oh, I really like water, guys. She goes back to just mulling about the crowds and stuff.
Okay.
Trying to hear if there's any gossip or just doing a room check. Vibe check.
Yeah. I mean,
It's a little, tense, but also very active now in the conversation. Some people are talking about the fight. Some people are talking about, obviously, the fact that many of them have lost their estates. Many of them are trying to curry favor by talking to those knights that just got awarded those estates. And it's going to go on for a little while until eventually.
Would Babette be able to kind of go around and talk to the nobles and kind of like, try and sway it in a way where like they kind of think, just an excuse to.
In Avil,
read
unfortunately, you know enough that the people here weigh what you say by how much they value what you're saying, pretty much. And I don't think they're gonna think as yourself. They're gonna think you're, already in the queen's favor, and as other people, they would not know who you are, so your word doesn't mean anything.
can Zell walk up to one of the Knights of the Arcane?
Yeah, sure.
He just kind of like walk up, being like, "Hi, thank you, Zell. So wonderful."
Nods towards you. He's human, kind of tannish skin, bit of a goatee, probably in his mid-20s, fairly young. Looks a little, overwhelmed with all the stuff that's going on, but also hiding it fairly decently. Looks, they just look really like tense, like they're at a guard post or something right now, not really like they're at a party. And so they're answering a lot of questions. Every single one of them is surrounded by 20 people right now, so there's no private conversation happening with any of them. They're all gonna be hounded by people until the end of this party because of the way she just set that up. Anything you're wanting to ask them?
No.
A
So
lot of people are saying hi to them at the moment, so they would say hi back, but then somebody else would be trying to dominate the conversation. So unless you're going in with a purpose, you're not going to get a word in.
Yeah, he will go in there for a purpose, and he will go in saying, "Thank you for what you do," and he'll leave after that.
Nod, shake your hand, and another person comes up, shake their hand, bows to another person, and a few moments after that, Wisteria and her whole band arrive, wheeling in a bunch of instruments and stuff, and she sees you, and she gives you a noble party looking around like this, and then just rolls her eyes and gives this little fucking raspberry fucking blow thing of just and then major thumbs down towards this whole thing. And
he goes like fuck it up, pretty much. Go crazy. He kind of words. He bows. Looks at the queen.
Okay, and with that, suddenly, you see as the band kicks off, and the queen just smiles finally and sits back, and her focus is just on the band playing, and she seems into it. And as Wisteria's music kicks in, her band plays for most of the rest of the night. It is a long gig, and the nobles at first don't seem to know what to make out of it, but the dancers that are paid to dance, end up going with it fairly well and ends up getting some good energy out of it. And the knights seem to loosen up a lot after that music started playing. Several of them actually kind of like nodding to the music and stuff. So some of them seem to know the words to it. And as that plays out, that is where we will end tonight's session. We will pick up with the second part of this, leading into the new year, 1940.
19? Oh no, I don't like that year. I'm thinking about it. That's a bad year, guys. Oh. Hell yeah.
Eliza looks like she's jamming to the music.
I know, right? Just...
I love it. He's on the freaking
Eliza,
stage.
what are you doing?
jamming.
Wow, so great. Mosh pits.
So lit right now. Like,
Oh, Boise.
Alright, I'm gonna stop the recording.
Dude, I love the Queen.